Hi, Sweet Pea.
Hi, Mummy Bear.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. I mean, I've got my mocks tomorrow, so
You have.
a wee bit stressed, but
Yeah.
we're doing all right. I've been efficient. Don't you feel that when you have an efficient day, it's just like
Yes.
nailed it?
It feels
That's a
good.
day. Because also I did have a weekend back home.
Yes,
which
exactly.
was really, really nice to do because
Bit
I had
of a refresh.
Exactly. I had a long weekend. And so it's just nice to come home to chill out a little bit. And my brain did kind of go kaplunk, where it was just kind of like, it looked at the page and it went, nope, not
It
going
went
to do
so
that.
kaplunk, it all came out your nose because you had a massive nosebleed.
And today I had a massive nosebleed as well.
But that's because you blew your nose after having had a nosebleed at the
I
weekend.
barely blew it. I just had to blow it. Anyway, so then coming back today and getting a good, efficient afternoon of revising kind of with friends as well, which I was worried because that was going to be with friends and therefore we weren't going to revise properly because obviously, you know, with
distractions.
others. But we're in the library and it was just really nice. And we were just all heads down, you know, when you feel like you don't want your head to be up above everyone else's. So you just have to look down at your book and so might as well read what's on the book.
Yeah.
So
you're all
that
in
was
it
really
together.
nice. Yeah.
Great.
And I came back to my plants and they're all looking good as well.
Oh,
so that's
good. Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed having a look around our garden, which is, I would say it's very much an autumn garden, much like one of the guests on Gardener's World this week.
I know, absolutely.
It comes into its own at this time of year. There's a beautiful light. It's a low light. It's a warm light. All the dahlias are giving those pops of colour amongst the grasses, which this is their time to shine, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And the salvias, of course. And you pointed something out that I haven't been noticing. I just walk past that bed and don't really give it much of a look. But how is your purple sprouting broccoli coming along?
I was so happy to come back and to see little tiny beautiful heart-shaped leaves peeking out of the soil. I was like, yes.
Doing well.
They're doing really well. So that means that I collected the seed correctly and sowed it correctly. So I'm very happy about that. And thankfully, Mummy watered it during the dryish spells.
Yeah, and we don't have to worry about that now because there's plenty of rain.
Exactly.
But also what's doing so well, which we just forget about because it's a bed that we knew we would sow and then really not do much with for a few years, is the asparagus bed.
Oh, completely.
Which looks fantastic, doesn't it? All these feathery little shoots are up.
And they're thickening up, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're getting quite thick. And I'm like, oh, crikey, that's almost an asparagus.
I think when that comes through, when we can actually start harvesting it, we're going to get, I'd say,
10.
One mid-range sized meal out of that per year. But you remember Tom Hoblin? He said he had something like I can't remember now, it was on one of our chit chats, but he talked about, I think it was like a 6 meter bed or possibly longer. And it was all asparagus. And he said that by the end of asparagus season, he was sick of asparagus, but we're not going to have that problem.
We're not. We're going to really savour every bite. I wonder if it'll be nicer, like way nicer than shop bought. I mean, I'm sure it will be. Because sometimes I can find it a bit tasteless.
It depends how it's cooked, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And also, I like the taste of green. Anyway,
I wouldn't want a 6 metre bed of green.
No.
But we'll see.
I tell you what else is doing really well is that rogue beetroot that you planted in your wildflower bed.
It's really funny beetroot, isn't it? It's just sitting there going, I mean, I don't know why I'm here, but okie dokie.
Let's make the most of it. And it is making the most of it. It looks really healthy.
I would say it looks bigger than most of that beetroot
I think
we've ever had.
Because it hasn't had any competition.
Yeah.
So we might be able to harvest that for Christmas. That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. Anyway, how have you been getting on?
Well, pretty good. I have found out who is the culprit for Walnut Gate.
Dun, dun,
I didn't use any cameras, but it all happened in broad daylight right in front of me. I came round the corner to that bit of the path where all the walnut shells are. And I do sort of creep stealthily round each time I pass, just in case I might see some evidence. And I did this time. As I came around the corner, these two big hazelnut eyes staring at me. It was Hobbs. So Hobbs has been gathering walnuts
baby.
and then bringing them over to the path, and for some reason that's her favourite spot to crunch through the shell.
She's made a spot.
Yeah, it's very sweet. So that mystery's over anyway.
Do you think that's why she's been having the absolute stinkiest farts when I was back? Like, I have never felt
probably
more intoxicated in my life. Where I thought I need to put a gas mask on.
She
might be slightly allergic to nuts, but still wants them.
Yeah, she might have a nut allergy.
She might have a nut.
It could well be that. That might be what it is. But anyway, I'm glad to have found the culprit.
Yes, brilliant.
And then we've also opened up that amazing butternut, and I have cooked that up into a massive vat of soup. And I reckon from that one fruit in a soup, we can get around about 14 portions out of it.
Oh, I think that's quite amazing
10 to 14
to get
portions.
14 portions.
Yeah, a week's worth, let's say.
More than a week's worth.
Well, for two people.
Yeah, I mean, if you're having it every single night.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's done well, and it tastes amazing. Otherwise, really, I've just been trying to deal with rats. I have rats in the ceiling above my bedroom.
Oh no, it's such a pain, isn't it?
Really bad, and they seem to do a performance of river dance every night.
Oh gosh.
And it's, whilst I'm sure very nice for them, it's awful. So I need to deal with that. I've got some professional coming round this week.
Oh good.
And they're going to have a look round, tell me where they're coming in, and tell me what to do.
Keep me updated.
Expect it's probably going to be poison that we'll have to use.
Oh no.
But
it's so frustrating because you're weighing up. You're like, oh, they're cute animals. They're
animals.
Yeah, they're animals, and you don't want to hurt them. But then at the same time, they could be causing house fires by nipping through the wires.
Through it, yeah.
And also shortening your life because you're not getting the sleep.
I'm not getting any sleep. Well, something that is causing me a lack of sleep is Lord Farquhar. He's been terrorising us again, and
he has.
I actually caught him with his hands underneath our fence pulling up our plants at the weekend.
Do other people have neighbours who do this? I would be so interested, because why do we have to have this neighbour who thinks for some unknown reason he can decide what's going along our fence? It's like,
preach, sweetie, preach.
Yeah.
But I caught him red-handed, and he still just shouted at me as if it was my fault. So anyway, I have a plan now to put in a bare roots hedge.
Yes.
So I've been browsing hedge plants. We haven't bought plants for a long time, but this is quite nice. I do enjoy browsing plants.
I love that. We haven't bought plants for a long time, so therefore let's buy plants.
Yes, a bit of a shopaholic on the plant front. So I've been looking at bare roots, Sweet Pea, and I need you to come home soon so that we can sit down together and decide. Okay. You can get packs of sort of, I don't know, 5 or 6 different types of different varieties. So you might want a fruiting type hedge, or you might want a flowery type hedge, or a defence prickly hedge.
Yes,
so we want one of those to be good for Lord Farquhar.
So can stab his hands?
Well, that's going to be another little project for us, which we can do over Christmas, probably.
That sounds really good, because we do like the bare roots, don't we?
We do. Absolutely sold on them. Well, I have some nowhere news.
Nowhere news.
And a couple of nice stories, one sad one. So I've bookended the sad one with 2 nice stories.
Oh, great. Okay, this is good stuff.
So the first one is dandelion roots are killing colon cancer cells. Have you heard this? So there's a study where researchers looked at how dandelion root extract might fight colon cancer. And they found that DRE, which they shorten it to, dandelion root extract, basically kills off cancer cells, amazingly up to 95% of them, without harming the normal colon cells.
I mean, that's obviously brilliant.
Isn't this incredible? So it's a bit like the bee venom one we heard about last week.
So cool as well.
For breast cancer cells.
Yeah.
So again, this has been tested in Petri dishes and also in mice. And in mice, drinking the DRE, it slowed tumour growth so much, and with no obvious sort of toxicity being seen in the mice. So they dug into how it works, and it looks like dandelion root extract sort of uses multiple ways of cell death And you'll probably know about some of these. So it messes with the cancer cell mitochondria and causes stress on those cells, and it activates various kind of death pathways, as they call them, some of which don't even need, have you heard of this caspase 8? Which is an enzyme often involved in apoptosis.
Yeah, apoptosis for the suicide of cells.
Yeah. So isn't that so cool?
Love that.
Bee venom for breast cancer, dandelion root extract for colon cancer. Tackling all the cancers one natural way at a time.
Yeah, exactly. I hope we can find more for like skin cancer and all those different kinds of things. That would be amazing.
Really amazing, isn't it?
Very interesting.
Skin cancer, I have definitely got 2 patches that I'm going to get checked this month.
No.
At the end of the month.
It's good that you're going to get them checked.
I think they could be basal cell sarcomas, because they're those ones, sort of scabby, tiny bit of skin that's a bit scabby, never really heals.
No.
Or I might scratch it and it feels flat and then it comes back scabby again. So
it doesn't look like a mole either, because it's not like you can't distinguish it. Like I really had to look at your face the other day.
I can just feel it under my eye and on my lip, both on the same side of the face.
Oh, that's annoying.
Well, it's worrying.
Yeah.
Really,
I hope they can get rid of it quickly.
Anywho, yeah. Well, hopefully it's early enough stage to be able to use the cream that hopefully that zaps it. Otherwise, I think it's going to be surgery. Have it dug out. Them's the perils of gardening, really.
Them's the perils, yes. Being out in the sun all day.
Oh, sweet pea. You don't know how safe you are stuck in your apartment.
Yeah, revising all day, not seeing the sunlight. You should see my skin at the moment. It is white.
Yes, you're very interesting pale
very
colour.
Pasty. Thanks.
Right, I'll run through this sad bit of news.
Yes, very quickly.
Fairly quickly. There's an island off the east coast of Australia called Lord Howe Island, which is absolutely stunning, and it sits amongst beautiful, beautiful reef.
Have you been there?
Yeah, white sandy beaches, just gorgeous. It has got inhabitants on it, around sort of 500 inhabitants. And when it comes to visitors, tourists, they only allow a maximum of 400 people at any one time to come visit. So, they're really keeping numbers low. It's I think it's part of the Marine Reserve of Australia. Yes. I think it's a UNESCO area, which we actually talk about in a chit chat with somebody from the Isle of Man.
Yeah, we do.
In a future chit chat. But it's also the home to 44,000 seabirds, which are really, really tame, because they're used to people on the island not giving them any grief. So you can walk up to one and they'll just wander over to you. They're very sweet. But the researchers have found that they've become so full of plastic in their tummies that they literally crunch and crackle with the sound of it. I'll put a link to this on our website, and you can hear it. 2 researchers are just kind of massaging their tummy, and there's just all this crunching sound. So what they've been doing with the birds is they've been giving them water so that they then expel their stomach contents, and they have found that every single bird now has plastic in its stomach contents. And one bird they found had 778 pieces of plastic in its tummy.
Sheesh kebabs.
And that was an 8-day-old chick, an 80-day-old chick.
Oh my God, it's so tiny.
And the sorts of things that they were bringing up were just everything. So there was a syringe cap, a cigarette butt, a screw cap from a piece of furniture, the sort of bristle end of a toothbrush, a manual toothbrush.
Oh, crikey.
So this is a bit of a crisis, and it's been described as the canary in the coal mine situation, because if even remote islands like Lord Howe Island, which is protected, if the wildlife there is being destroyed by plastic, then imagine what's happening elsewhere. So the scientists are working with the government, because apparently Australia have been falling quite short with their recycling targets. So they're really having to clamp down, and there's a massive drive now to try and sort that out.
Come on, Aussies.
Very, very sad.
Yeah, that's really, really sad. Poor little things.
But let me bookend it with some final good news. Good Norway news.
Good Norway news.
And this is great news for anyone with lung problems.
Oh, fantastic.
It's called butt breathing. So it sounds quite mad.
Take it seriously? Nope.
But apparently scientists are exploring the idea that breathing through your nether regions could bypass some of the damaged airways in your lungs. And they came across this idea from looking, again, going to nature and looking at how animals do things. And they came across this bottom-dwelling fish called a loach. And as you know, fish usually breathe through their gills. But when oxygen runs low, the loach is known to swim to the surface, gulp air and swallow it. And then the air moves through their digestive tract where oxygen is kind of absorbed into the bloodstream before the rest is expelled through the butt end. And it's not the only animal that does that, uses its backside in the process of breathing. There are turtles, sea cucumbers, dragonfly nymphs, and even pigs can absorb oxygen through their butts when their lungs aren't up to the task.
Oh, sweet.
So scientists have been inspired by these little legends, little butt legends, and thought, I wonder if humans could do this.
Come on now.
So they took 20, this was tested out in Japan. They took 27 healthy male volunteers who agreed to have varying amounts of unoxygenated liquid inserted into their rectums to hold for 60 minutes, or as long as they could, but up to an hour. And 20 of them lasted the full hour, including some who took in up to 1.5 liters of fluid. And they wanted to check how this affected the participants. And they reported this kind of bloating and discomfort, which welcome to once a month for a woman. And but no serious side effects. So Dr. Takanori Takebi, co-author of this study, he said, now that we've established tolerance, the next step will be to evaluate how effective the process is for delivering oxygen to the bloodstream. So they've done it with the sort of unoxygenated fluid. They're now going to use an oxygenated fluid and then see if that transition takes place from the digestive tract into the bloodstream, thus bypassing your dodgy lungs.
I mean, I'm now seeing people who are trying to do deep sea diving just coming up to the surface with their butt.
Like a whale.
Like a whale.
This blowhole. But if you take all the comedy away from it, that would be really cool. Because if you have got a serious lung problem and you're not able to get oxygen in through your lungs, then this will solve those problems.
That would be absolutely amazing. Very, very cool.
I'll put all the details onto our website anyway, so you can have a proper read in all that spare time that you have.
Of course.
Anyway, Sweet Pea, do you have a plant fun fact from your amazing RHS book?
I have a small fun fact, and it's not actually from the book. I came across this because I thought, this is very, very cool. Yep. So it's how historically bluebell juice was used to make glue.
Oh, right.
Now, you know how everyone goes on about how glue can be really toxic for kids using it and everything?
Well, certain glues, yeah.
Yeah, certain glues.
Not Pritt Stick.
No, not Pritt Stick. Pritt Stick's good. And it's very good. It sticks like mad.
That sure does stick.
We should do advertising for Pritt Stick.
And UPVA glues.
Yes.
And those glues you used to make your slime with.
Yes. Okay, so there are still some, but
some glues are toxic.
Some glues are toxic. Anyways, bluebell juice glue couldn't be more toxic than you could think, because bluebell, it's made from smashed up. Well, historically, it was made from smashed up bluebell bulbs. And the bulb is extremely toxic of a bluebell.
Oh, wow.
So can you imagine smashing that up and putting that on glue? Do not lick your envelope, is what I'm saying.
Gosh.
Before shutting it.
So glue used to be made from bluebells?
Yeah, historically. Quite amazing.
And now obviously it's made from horse.
What?
Well, it's made from horses.
It's made from what?
Well, I'll look up that animal fun fact for next week.
That's not a fun fact.
No, it isn't.
No, that's awful.
Another great way of making glue is have a bowl of cornflakes with milk and then don't wash it out immediately. Leave it overnight, and then you try and get that cornflake off the side of the bowl. Oh no, I tell you what else, butternut squash. So when I have a butternut squash, I slice through it. If I only want half, I slice through it, and then I turn the exposed half, the exposed surface, I turn that upside down onto a plate, stop the air getting to it, put that in the fridge. And often when I get it back out of the fridge and I try to take the butternut off the plate, I'm really having to lever it apart to get the butternut off.
What's going on there?
Well, there've got to be other options to toxic bluebells and lovely horses.
Yeah, I think so. Anyways,
just saying.
I thought it was quite interesting.
That is.
About that.
Thank you, Sweet Pea.
What is the animal fun fact? Hopefully not about horses and glue.
It's not. It's a short one. There's an African grey parrot called Rocco who's been caught ordering stuff off Amazon using the family Alexa. So he's ordered himself all sorts of treats, including broccoli, watermelons, ice cream, raisins, and strawberries. And the owners have returned home to find one time Rocco playing some romantic music whilst they've been out. Anyway.
This parrot sounds awesome.
Bit of a character. So they now put a pin on the Alexa, which is working for now, but of course Rocco's going to pick up on the pin soon.
He's going to love the pin,
and so they're going to have to just, I think, eternally change their Alexa pin.
Oh, that's the sweetest animal fun fact ever.
Right, Sweet Pea, shall we have a look at this week's Gardener's World?
Absolutely, we should.
So this is Gardener's World 2025, episode 29 recap.
Off we go.
We hear beautiful bird song, and we're back at Monty's at Longmeadow, and he's deadheading his roses.
One of the most satisfying things to do is to deadhead.
Yeah,
lovely job to do this year.
It's a nice mindful task, isn't it?
Is it so mindful? Also, the other day, because this was mindful, and I think other people, if you have it, should do it because it's quite a lovely thing to do, is if you have dried honesty, which is just kind of dried the seed heads, the seed pods on the plant, get them, and then if you gently take away both outer layers of both sides of the seed pod, you're left with paper thin like silver center, which is really, really beautiful for displays, and we've added it to a small little display. It's gorgeous.
So beautiful, isn't it? And it's also so mindful, so satisfying, peeling those two outer layers off. And the outer layers look slightly, so it looks all kind of pretty on its own, but once you peel off those slightly shaggy looking outer layers, flick all the seeds off, you get this beautiful silver, and you can see why it's called, is it called the money plant, or
the money plant,
some name like that. You can see why, because it just looks like a load of silver coins. Really, that was a nice moment, wasn't it?
It was such a nice moment, and it just, you immediately kind of, your mind just trickles off, and it's very nice. So I thought that's the same as deadheading. I find my mind does the same thing when deadheading. But Monty does say don't deadhead all roses, because obviously you want the rose hips for some. So he was, so he stopped deadheading the Rugosa alba rose, because that has beautiful rose hips on it. There's also Moyesii and Complicata as well, which give all different rose hips, and they're all just as good. Yeah.
And then he was planting in his ex-hazel copse, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He'd taken them all out.
Yeah, he was saying how the trees are all bigger now and they're shading the area too much and they're sucking up all the water. So he's taken all those hazels out and he's putting in some shrubs.
And he did say make sure that what you're planting is good for the area, because obviously if you're under pines, it's not going to be deciduous area. So he had a deciduous area, so therefore he could be planting things like Magnolia stellata, for example, Amelanchier lamarckii, which was going to be a beautiful multi-stem, and the Gelder rose as well.
Yes, that's a common one on our chit-chats, isn't it?
Yes,
common choice.
It is loved, isn't it?
And he also said about the Magnolia stellata that it needs protection from morning sun, because otherwise it thaws too fast, which damages it.
And also the whole point of when you're looking around a garden centre, if you see plants which are looking a bit shaggy and not particularly good, he said still get them, because they can really come into their own in your garden.
Absolutely. And he did say if you're planting any woody plants, then get them in before Christmas so the roots have time to establish.
Absolutely. So what are we doing? We're planting a hedge.
We're going to plant a hedge. And then we're going with Carol, the wonderful Carol Klein, who is taking us to RHS Rosemoor in Devon. And she was there last summer.
She was, wasn't she? And she talked about a lot of plants.
This was a very, very plant-filled episode, and I loved it because of that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, we were looking at the most beautiful plants left, right, and centre, which made it very difficult for me to choose my favourite plant for this episode. There were a few. I've tried to narrow it down as much as possible.
Good point, yes.
But yes, Carol was in her element, wasn't she? She was listing off all these amazing things.
Yes, and I was like, oh, crikey, get the notebook out. So she started off in the cool garden. That was beautiful, kind of blues and chill colours, and then obviously trickling water coming through. Yeah. So the plants in there, we had things like variegated pittosporum, which beautifully bookended the beds, which is what I love. That's what I want to have in my dream garden one day. Then there was also Salvia yangyai, that's the Russian sage, Panicum variegatum, North Wind.
They had a lovely contrast, those two, didn't they?
Yes, it was a gorgeous contrast. I love that. All kind of swaying as well in the breeze. There was the Millennia, an agapanthus and a white buddleia together, beautifully worked.
Again, lovely, wasn't it?
Everything was just offsetting everything else perfectly. It just all bounced.
Really,
around.
I really enjoyed the planting.
Yeah, and then of course your favourite plant, the Veronicastrum.
Veronicastrum.
Beautiful cathedral towers.
I remember when I first really recognised it was when Sue Kent showed it, when she was looking for plants for her husband's hot border. She was trying to get lots of hot colours. Yes. And she walked past this area of Veronicastrum, white Veronicastrum, and the way it was lit on that particular episode of Gardener's World, it looked so ethereal and so beautiful that very image from Sue Kent's segment has stayed in my mind ever since.
I know, so now it stayed in mine.
I just think of that now whenever I see Veronicastrum.
I should really get you a Veronicastrum for Mother's Day.
Well, Sweet Pea, we do have Christmas coming up.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to try and find it in the garden centre.
I don't know if it'll be available at Christmas. The only problem with Christmas when it falls.
The problem. Like everyone's going, maybe bulbs, but it's like, I want a plant.
Yeah.
For Christmas. Anyways, then we go to a very different area. We go to the hot garden, and that is really rich colours.
Yes. Big clumps of colour as well. It was just so tightly packed, wasn't it?
Exactly. And I loved that, because I really think that in a garden that I would like to have, I want these different areas. I don't want it all to be one thing. I would want it to be really spaced apart in the cool garden and chill colours. And they're really kind of all there. It's all happening in the hot garden.
Absolutely.
I think that would be lovely.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of when you and I went to Aston Pottery. Do you remember that? In the Cotswolds.
Yes.
And they had that, I was going to say bizarre, but it's probably not the right word, but unusual bed, which was all entirely annuals. And again, we went there because of Carol Klein having visited it on Gardener's World. Yeah. And she was showing specifically the annual bed, which it's amazing, it's striking, but not something I'd want in my garden.
No, couldn't.
But what myself. I did love was their hot border of perennials, and it was very similar to this hot bed garden border at Rosemoor.
Yeah, completely. I mean, this one, there was Helenium Sarhin's early flowerer.
Wasn't that beautiful?
It's always a good one. There was Coreopsis Schnittgold. I mean, come on now, what a cool name. Schnittgold.
Schnittgold.
I love that. And of course, I love Coreopsis. There was Dahlia Moonfire as well. Gorgeous.
Amazing.
Crocosmia Star of the East as well. And she said how she really wants that. And
great big flower.
Beautiful flowers. And then we went over to even more borders. I thought, oh my gosh, it's never going to finish.
150 metres of long border, but divided with yew blocks.
Yeah. Can you imagine how hard it would be to run down that in a wedding dress? That's a very long border.
That is.
Anyways, lots of yew hedges and I liked that, because sometimes when you have such a long border, it's kind of like, I would quite like to have its different areas.
Yeah, so but also a 150 metre border without breaks in between is so striking.
Long.
Well, but magnificent as well, because it's not often you get an area that's 150 metres long in a garden.
That's a good point.
So I liked the yew blocks, but I also would love to see 150 metres just unbroken. So you could see as far as the eye could see, really, see all the way down.
That is a good point, because also we're always going on about how we look so much around us and for kind of eyesight, it's kind of eye practice.
It's important to look at a horizon, isn't it? Yeah. Because we're always looking at screens.
Exactly, screens or books, or it's just very much in front of us. And so, as you're saying, probably a long border that it would make you concentrate on that beautiful... Yeah. When you do a drawing, it all kind of...
Exactly, the lines receding into the background. Yeah, I'd like to see that. The yew blocks were cool.
They were cool. They were interesting in it. It gave different areas. So there were some bits with Agapanthus and Crocosmia, Collaton fish acre in there. There was some dahlias, copper boy and autumn orange, a crimson eupatorium. Then in another bit, there was echinops and galtonia candicans.
Gosh, you've done well, Sweet Pea.
A summer hyacinth, quite pretty plant. Haven't seen that
which
before.
Which self-seeds as well.
Yes, it does self-seed, which is always great. And then a Sorbus rufipelosa.
Pelosa. Which was the tree giving some height in the border.
Yeah, because you can put small trees in borders, which is quite nice to do.
Well, we've done loads of that.
Exactly. Mixes it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I thought this was absolutely fantastic, and I think it's a garden we should try and visit when we next visit the Olds down in Cornwall. We can stop off on the way.
Wedding dress out first.
Wedding dress. First of all, why is it took wedding dress, and also what wedding dress are we talking about?
Who knows? I'm going to buy one for the occasion.
Just to run down your long borders.
Yes.
Well, it is in Great Torrington in Devon. And if you want to visit, they give some information on plant health. So it has things like, please ensure your footwear is clean before visiting. Interesting, because you don't really think about that.
I understand that, yeah.
Don't bring plants, flowers, foliage, fruit or veg to the site.
I understand that as well. Pests.
Then this one you wouldn't have thought needed to be said, but don't remove plants, seeds or cuttings from the garden. And then something which I just would never have thought, but this has obviously happened to them, that they felt they had to put this on the list of things, was don't scatter ashes at the garden. So, that's shocking, isn't it? Who's taking an urn of ashes to Rosemoor, dumping them in the beds? Maybe it was the cat's dying wish. I wish to be scattered.
Or maybe it's just grandma.
Maybe. Well, a little bit of information about Rosemoor, but I'll put a link with all the full details, obviously.
Fabulous.
So back in 1923, it was Lady Anne Berry's father, Sir Robert Horace Walpole, who bought the Rosemoor estate as a family fishing lodge. So not even their main home, it's their fishing lodge. Because apparently it sits right next to the River Torridge, which used to be full of salmon at the time.
Oh, that would be fun.
And then her dad died in 1931, and so Lady Anne and her mum used Rosemoor more as a home.
Oh,
and at the time, Lady Anne described the garden as being, in her words, dull and labour-intensive. And then after the war, Lady Anne moved there permanently with her husband, Colonel Eric Palmer, and her young son. And it wasn't until 1959 when she got bitten by the gardening bug, because she was in Spain recovering from a bout of measles, which she'd caught from the kids. And she met plantsman Collingwood Ingram, who opened her eyes up to the plant world. And after she had recovered, she was then finding plants in Spain and the UK that she really liked, but then spent a long time doing numerous travels around the world to get more plants for her garden. So she went to North and South America, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Japan,
that sounds fun. Yeah,
collecting plants. Oh, nice if you could do that.
That would be a lot of fun.
And then in 1998 she gifted the estate, so that's the house, the 8-acre garden and 32 acres of pasture land, to the RHS, and then they did a whole load of work. A lot of digging, which you can read, and you can see photos on the website.
Crikey.
Loads of digging. They really went for it.
Why did they go for it?
Well, because they transformed some of the pasture land into formal gardens as well. They had to flatten certain areas and had to bring the slope down to the river, make it less of a slope, all things like that. So it's quite an interesting read. Monty pops into Blue Doored Shed. I couldn't work out which shed that was. Do you have any idea, Sweet Pea?
Ooh, no, I'm not sure I can tell which one. He's got so many sheds,
He's got so many sheds, especially, well, just added another one.
Exactly, he's added another one.
Anyway, he's talking about bulbs that are destined for long grass, which is what we try to do in our garden. He calls it the tame flower meadow, so he's putting tulips in. And I love how he says, you don't try and place the bulbs because it'll never look natural, so you throw them, which is all well and good if you've got flat land, but if you're on a hill,
you're doomed.
You chuck them, they all end up down at the bottom. So we have had to place them and hope they look vaguely wild and natural.
Yeah, exactly. We've kind of had to go, like, chucked it a centimetre. There we go. That has been placed randomly.
Yeah. Anyway, so he says the best month to plant them is in November, But we have it on good authority, and I think we mentioned this last year when he said it, from our Dutch friend who used to do her summer job every summer at the local tulip farm in the Netherlands. And they used to put them in December and even January as well.
It's good. Good time.
Then we go to Manchester, to a city centre garden, and we meet Andy, who's the project manager at Plant Co-operative.
Yeah, and so it's all about creating these green spaces, as many as possible, in the urban area. And I was thinking to myself, because there are lots of just grass at the university campus here, and I thought, how incredible would it be to have flower borders or meadows, for example? Like, there aren't any borders. It's purely grass and trees here and there.
Yeah, nice trees.
Very beautiful trees. I'm very grateful for the mature trees here.
Yeah.
But I thought, could these guys come over and
put some meadow planting would be nice. Oh, you want the borders? Yeah,
the borders and the meadows. I'd like both.
Yeah,
I think that'd be pretty.
Do the students walk a lot on the grass, or do they tend to just follow the paths?
They do some grass walking and some path walking.
Okay. Yeah, I still think there's lots that could be done, isn't there? Well, we know there is if you've got an expanse of grass.
Absolutely. But I think that's what they're trying to do in Manchester. And then also I know there are so many other places in other
Sheffield.
cities. Yeah, exactly. Lots of cities are trying to greenify the spaces.
Yeah. And I mean, Andy and the team are having great success. They've been around for 4 years now, the Plant Co-operative. And they were saying how it used to be sort of, it was a very maintenance heavy approach. Once a month they would spray, mow, trim, which you often see in cities. You see someone walking around with a strimmer.
Yeah, or on the ride-on mower going for it.
Leaf blower.
Yes.
And but they have really planted it up beautifully, haven't they? And they said there would be some planters, but there'd be standalone planters with just like a U in it, so no real biodiversity.
What's going on there?
So they've been diversifying the planting.
I did really, really like that border, which they said they had to create more precisely and cleanly.
Yeah.
Because of the building architecture around, so they had to fit in the space.
Are you thinking of that very green border?
Yeah,
had hostas in it
and hostas.
Yes, and ferns were in there.
Exactly.
That looked lovely, didn't it? There wasn't a lot in the way of flowers, but all the different leaf shapes were really, really pretty.
Exactly. And then I liked how then in the open areas, it was more kind of, we'll let it go a little bit rugged, and they had lots of thistles as well, all in and around the place. And that was very, very nice. And just kind of opening the eyes of people who would go, oh, it's a thistle.
It's a thistle.
Oh, it's a thistle.
Yeah, so we also meet Liz Dalby-Webb, and she's the head gardener. And she talks about the seasonality and how important it is to have seasonal interest because of engagement, because a large part of what they do involves volunteers. Exactly. And we meet Rachel, who's an apprentice who started in November, and she talks about the RAG scheme, the WRAG scheme, Work and Retrain as a Gardener, which I hadn't heard of before. But basically, Andy and Liz and Rachel explain how volunteers can come, they do the work with them, and that then gives them kind of a foot in the door of a career career in horticulture.
Exactly.
And that's it. What a great way to start, really, isn't it?
Exactly. If you're already in a city and then you've got it there on your doorstep and you're not having to go kind of out and travel around, it's but perfect.
Also improving the space around you and improving it for everyone else as well. It must be so rewarding. It's one thing to have your own private garden and it just looks nice for you, but to be able to make it nice for thousands of other people who walk past it every day, that's really quite special, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely.
And we also meet Gary, who joined a year ago, and he used to be a toy shop manager, so he's had a complete change of career, 14 years of toy retailing, but he just knew he wanted to be outdoors and in nature, and so this has been a great place for him to start that.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see that beautiful insect hotel? Like a luxury retreat for bugs.
It's quite amazing. The bugs must be going crikey. At one point they were like, pesticides ahoy ahoy, and next thing they're giving us hotels. It's like, what are we doing?
And they also had those little ponds, which seemed to be in sort of big buckets.
Yes.
But it was just a great idea, a great way of kind of getting water, and they don't have to worry about health and safety because no one's going to trip over and fall in it and drown.
Yeah, you can't really do much with a small bucket, can you? And also, you're going to see a frog, and the frog's going to be like,
Excuse me, get out of my pond.
Mudge.
And there was a beautiful wildflower meadow, which was, they'd done such a great job with it. I had meadow envy once again.
Oh no.
One day Sweet Pea Meadow will be as beautiful as that.
I will never hear the end of it.
Well, I don't think they mentioned much about growing edibles, did they? I thought I saw an apple tree at one point, but they have been putting in edible planters and beds.
Oh, fabulous.
And so they've got various crops in there, including overwinter crops as well, which is also just there in this sort of open space. But as I mentioned before about the RAG scheme, I was really interested in that, and apparently it was launched in 1993 to provide paid part-time practical horticultural training. So it seems that a trainee works for 12 to 14 hours a week for the whole year in a garden, and it seems that the RAG scheme, they source the garden, can be a private or a public garden, and then under the instruction of the garden owner or the head gardener, you then work with them. It's minimum wage, but you're going to get all this training and knowledge and experience, and at the end of it, you're going to be able to then, really go for jobs in horticulture. So a brilliant scheme. I've put a link to it on our website.
Great stuff.
We're looking at Monty's medlar.
Yeah. Says it isn't a favourite fruiting plant, but was loved by the Victorians, apparently.
Well, this blew my mind. I didn't know that they basically would store it in sawdust until it started to, what they call blet, which is just a nicer way of saying that it rot, before they then ate the thing.
I mean,
Whoever thinks of this?
Disgusting. The Victorians did do a lot of vile things, didn't they?
Well, so I'm not surprised that fell out of favour, but you can also make a good jelly with it, which sounds much more appealing. Yeah. And also then he talks about it having a lovely blossom.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was a member of the rose family.
No, me neither.
Surprised me. And then Monty says, so 3 cheers for the medlar. So I think he improved its reputation by the end of his little talk about it.
What a
Start with eating rotten fruit.
Yeah.
Finish with pretty blossom.
Exactly.
And then he's in his veg garden. It's looking impressive. Not many things to sow, he says now. So he's done the broad beans the other week. Peas you can do. And then Japanese onions. And that's what he was putting in the ground.
He was putting in the senju yellow.
And then we go with Advolly, who we haven't seen for a while. I always enjoy Advolly's sort of lectures, really. And this time she's giving us a little mini lecture on Gertrude Jekyll.
Yeah.
And she was in a Jekyll garden last June.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've heard about Gertrude a lot on
Chit
Chats on Gardener's World. And she was one of Britain's most influential garden designers.
Quite amazing.
Advolly explains how during her 60-year career she worked on 400 gardens at home and abroad.
I know.
And this one is Hartland Abbey in North Devon.
Yes.
Again, another one to visit on the way down to the Olds. So Advolly talks about how Gertrude was born to wealthy parents. And she was educated in music and history and painting. And then when she was 4, and that was in London, and when she was 4, they moved to Surrey and she fell in love with nature, started climbing trees, playing cricket, and apparently did dangerous things with gunpowder. And it's interesting, that change. So you can really imagine when she was in the city and she was doing all this very sort of formal education and everything was about conforming and sort of, you can imagine like Pride and Prejudice type era.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she's released into the countryside and she's just seeing trees that need climbing and cricket that needs to be played. And then if there's gunpowder, let's do something with gunpowder as well.
And the fact that her father called her his little oddity. Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
That was really sweet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so she basically became very independent. Once they had moved to Surrey. And at 17, she started training at South Kensington School of Art and sold her paintings at the Royal Academy. But this is rather sad, her eyes were failing her, so she couldn't continue. So she turned to gardening instead, and that really became her canvas.
Yeah.
And what was unusual about Gertrude at the time, apparently, was that she did a very sort of naturalistic style.
Yes, and instead of being so formal.
Yeah. Previously, it was always very formal and sort of geometric planting. that was big at the time.
Yeah.
And she was travelling big time as a plant hunter, much like Lady Anne at Rosemoor. So she would get plants from Italian mountains or the Algerian desert and things that couldn't survive in the UK. And then she turned her attentions closer to home and was scouring nurseries for new plants to add to her designs there. And then she started selling plants and seeds, and she wrote lots of best-selling books and articles on gardening. And then... wow. During World War I, she faced financial ruin because of the war. It meant that a lot of sort of more ornamental gardens were being turned into something more productive, such as veg. But her fame had spread to the US, and she was given a $10,000 donation by the Garden Club of America.
Quite a bit more back then.
Well, I looked it up to see what the equivalent would be today, and that, Sweet Pea, is $323,976 in today's money.
I would take that grant, yes, please.
So I was just reading up about this donation, and this article says that the donation was given in token of appreciation of her work and friendship, acknowledging her significant influence on American gardening and horticulture.
Yeah.
So she was very popular over there, and that worked in her favour, didn't it, to then get such a massive donation. So she was no longer facing financial ruin. All was good with the world.
Brilliant.
And then also, I found it interesting when Advolly said that she was the original remote worker because she rarely visited the gardens. So she'd get soil samples sent to her and then details of the building materials of the house and then any particular flowers, plants that the owners would like. And then she drew up the plans and sent them back, which really sounds mad to me if you're into gardens.
I know.
Part of the fun, surely, or... for me, the biggest part of the fun would be going and visiting the gardens and really getting your hands dirty, getting involved, checking it out. Because also it's not just... it's about the feel and the vibe of a place, isn't it? You want to understand the light. What's the light like in that area?
Oh, entirely.
Because it can so change depending on what part of the country or world you're in.
Yeah.
And so to not actually go there, I don't know how you could
properly take it in.
Provide a design with real feeling for that place.
I know exactly what you mean. Right. I wonder if she just really didn't want to talk to people. Maybe she was just really introverted at that point. She was just like, right, you know what? I'm staying here. I'll figure it out.
Well, no, but all joking aside, maybe she was just a real introvert.
I mean, this was quite funny because I did look up a little bit about her, and I saw that she met a young architect called Edwin Lutyens. He designed her home in Munstead Wood, and he designed lots of other things for her. So they worked together as a kind of professional pair. And I love how they were described as a very unlikely pair together because he was the young, untried architect who called her apparently Aunt Bumps. Don't know why. Do not ask why.
Don't ask any questions.
Don't ask questions. And then they say she was the redoubtable middle-aged spinster, and I was like, excuse me, just because she's an independent woman doesn't mean she has to be a spinster. So rude. So I wonder if maybe she was becoming very introverted from the way she's described.
Maybe. Interesting woman.
Very interesting woman.
Well, another interesting woman, of course, is Advolly, and we have talked about her previously when she's done segments, so I don't have a lot more to say, but something we did talk about last time was her love of linen dresses. And she said how you can never have too many of them. There was a whole article written about Advolly's love of linen dresses.
Yes.
And that beautiful yellow dress that she was wearing. Do you want a fit check, Sweet Pea?
Oh, yes.
That yellow dress is, of course, linen. And it is from sea salt.
Oh, very nice.
And it is available still now. You can get it at Next currently at a sale price if you go to Next Direct. Is it Next Direct online?
I think so, yeah.
It is available right now, reduced. So I'll put a link to that for anyone who wants Advolly's.
It's Black Friday, people. Get shopping.
But probably more importantly, Advolly's written a book last year called A Short History of Flowers, The Stories That Make Our Gardens. And it's really gorgeous,
I
Sweetie.
need to get that book.
Well, I think possibly we should. Maybe a a Christmas present because
blink, blink.
The front cover of it's absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to show you a picture of it.
Oh, yeah, let's see.
The most lovely illustrations. I don't know if you can see that through the computer screen, sweetie.
Oh, that's really gorgeous.
It's illustrated by Sarah Jane Humphrey, and that's inside are the most stunning illustrations.
Oh, I like it when they put illustrations inside.
It's a real beautiful thing to look at. And the little blurb that comes with the book says, have you ever wondered where your favourite garden flowers come from, where their name's derived, or why some cultivars go in and out of favour? Every flower in your herbaceous border has a story, and in this book, Advolly Richmond takes you on a tour of the most intriguing, surprising and enriching ones. And that's so your thing, isn't it?
That's so my thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels like she's made it for me. Obviously she hasn't, but it sounds like it's for me. That is going on the Christmas list.
We get a shot of Monty and he's fairly steaming along. All those slow-mo shots seem to have really fallen by the wayside, and now there were a couple of times Monty just whipped past the camera.
Stage left to stage right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Anyway, he was looking at my favourite plant from last week, which was the Anonymous.
Gorgeous. Yeah, the red cascade one he had. And he was taking cuttings of it. And I so wanted to put my hand through the screen.
Yeah,
get some cuttings.
Yeah,
that way you would
absolutely.
have some plants for free.
I'd have some of my favourite plants. And last week I did say I couldn't work out what part was the fruit and the flower and all the rest of it. And he explains it nicely. So thank you, Monty. It's the pink fruits which split to reveal those orange seeds.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
It does.
Don't know what I was coming up with. Anyway.
It wasn't particularly easy to figure out.
The usual thing of popping them in a bag to reduce the rate of transpiration. And then he's off to the potting shed. Free draining soil with grit and perlite.
Exactly.
In a deep pot and on a windowsill with a plastic bag over the top.
Exactly. All the stuff you do for a good old cutting.
And then we go to meet plantsman John Grimshaw's garden in North Yorkshire. Mm-hmm. A garden in autumn.
Yes, exactly. All going for it right now. And once again, so many plants.
So many plants, but also so many jobs to his name that he rattled off what he does as botanist and a gardener, an editor and a writer.
Yeah, it's just like, yes, I can do these and these and these.
Anyway, he says how his garden has evolved to become good in autumn, basically. Yeah. And I think that's happened to us. The first year, it wasn't really about that, but now it's very much an autumn garden.
It is. It does not do much in the summer, and then it just goes for it afterwards. Yeah, it's quite lovely.
And he wants as much colour as possible, but nothing was mentioned about the amazing views. Did you see the views from his garden?
I did see the views, and I thought, I'd like to see a bit more of the view.
Yeah, it was really striking.
It was lovely.
Now, he talks about the aster, and we have been hearing about how they've had a name change.
Yeah.
Cynthia Trichome.
I can never remember it. I still just want to call it an aster.
Well, I think we're probably always going to call it an aster, aren't we?
I'm always going to. I'm not going to change.
And it has a... No, don't you go changing, Sweet Pea. Not for anybody. Not for the horticultural world.
No.
Nobody.
No one.
And they really do have a nice mass of flowers, don't they? And as he calls it, a great wodge.
Yeah, they look really heavy. I mean, the plant was like, oh my gosh, I've got flowers.
So he explains how the North Sea is about 20 miles to the east of him, so the winds really blow everything about quite a bit. So, and he doesn't have a glass house either, so he needs really good, hardy, stocky plants.
Exactly.
That are going to stand strong against that wind.
Yeah, he had a nice little trio of a Runcus oratio, plant I did not know about, a Miscanthus Yakushima dwarf, beautiful swaying in the breeze, and a Solidago Dennis strange, another plant. He had lots of plants I didn't know about.
Yes, he did, didn't he? And you said a nice little trio, and he did say he likes planting in trios like that.
Yeah, I am very interested in the whole trio planting.
Yeah.
And them all together in little triangles.
And then we meet Mrs. G Senior, his mother, Susan Grimshaw, and she talks about how his love of plants, probs came from her own love of plants. She said how John wasn't a particularly quiet baby, and I thought, yes, I can relate to that. So she would take him off in the pram quite a bit and spend the time pointing out plants to him, and that sounds so familiar. Me taking off in the pram and trying to distract you. With you, it was basically music. If there was somewhere Because we lived in a town where there was you get a lot of street artists playing music, and you would just be totally thrown by the music. You'd be screaming, and we'd pass music, and suddenly you go silent and you stare. And you clutch the side of your pram, lean over to stare.
I'm so nosy as well. But I also remember my granddad would either take me in the pram or walk me with my little hand round the garden, and he would point out different things to me as well.
Yeah.
He'll just walk me round if I needed to go do a lap or something because I was just kind of fidgety.
No, just screaming, Soupy. That's all you did.
Yeah, just screaming. Crying. What a pain.
Absolute pain.
It's going to come back round, isn't it?
Sweet.
Karma's going to come back round.
I'm going to just start screaming at you in old age. Anyway, and we see the two of them working beautifully together, deadheading that variegated pelargonium.
Yeah, called Cape Town.
And it was funny when he said he can name most British flowers but doesn't know anything about cars. So each their own, isn't it? Some people can just rattle off all the cars and don't know the plants.
No. It's the same for us. We can rattle off the plants but not the cars.
Well, you can rattle off the plants. I can't.
And then he talked about how he was quite a fan of African plants, but they're not particularly easy to grow. So he went further south to South African plants, which were more interesting for the kind of more British climate, especially with climate change as well. And he was looking at a beautiful Nymphophea coalescens, which you could see. And I really like this shot. Where was this shot from? That Gardener's World had, because it wasn't a still. It was a bit of video. And all these Nymphophea in beautiful African fields.
Oh, yeah, well, that was just in sort of the wild in Africa, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was gorgeous. I loved it.
It looked a bit like when Nick Bailey on Gardener's World went to Africa to look at all the Clocosmia.
Did look similar, yes.
And you could just see them as far as the eye could see.
Yeah, exactly. He also had things like Erigeron annuus, a Sorbus frutescens, which had those amazing white berries. How many berries were on one plant?
Yeah, very berryful.
Berryful, really heavy as well.
I liked that a lot.
I don't know why I produced these. And then there were some euphorbias as well around the edge.
Yeah. And he mentions twice, I think, in this segment how he can't imagine life without gardening. And I think probably all of us can relate to that.
I think absolutely we can.
Well, John Grimshaw has been around the block a long time. I don't know if that's the right turn of phrase. But he used to work in the Cotswolds before becoming director of Yorkshire Arboretum and moving up north.
Up north? Oh,
and that place that he has, from what I can gather, he rents it, so he doesn't own it. So can you imagine as a landlord how incredibly pleased you'd be with what he's done in that garden?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, when he was working in the Cotswolds, he wrote an online diary, which is lovely. It's got lots of photos in there and just it's very interesting. It's a nice read, but I think he stopped that around 2017. That's what I could see. I think it was about then. But anyway, he now writes for Scribehound, which seems to be this sort of pro-hunting, pro-shooting site. Its founder, Chris Horn, is behind the shooting marketplace Guns on Pegs. But there are a few well-known gardeners who write on there. You do have to subscribe to be able to read their articles. But the people like Joe Swift and Advolly's on there. I think Arrett's on there. Alan Titchmarsh. So a number of big names are on there. So if you want to get more of his writing, head over to that. I'll put a link. Monty talks figs. I recently found a recipe for fig leaf cordial, which we were going to try and do, but our fig leaves are going over now, so I have to try it next year.
Yeah, unfortunately, time just slipped away.
And then we go to jobs for the weekend.
Yes.
So peas, treat slippery paws, and harvest apples.
Absolutely. I mean, the dog's doing that for us.
Yes. Thanks, Hobbs. Your favourite plant, Soupy?
The Coreopsis snitgold.
Oh, because of the name? You do love Coreopsis,
and the plant. It's just a great plant. If anyone doesn't have Coreopsis, get a Coreopsis.
Well, I'm torn between one from Carol's segment, which was the Helenium. I thought it was really beautiful.
Oh, yeah, Sarhens.
But I also like John's white berried sorbus. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was pretty. Interesting.
Yeah, quite unusual.
You should have both.
I shall have both. And what's your top takeaway?
was just planting tulips in long grass, because I forget how much I find it so beautiful. It's, as you said, it's a trained meadow.
Yeah.
It's just nice,
A tamed
but also
meadow.
a bit of kind of ruggedness in there as
Yeah.
well. So I love that.
Too.
What's yours?
Well, again, two. One's a bit cheeky because it wasn't on the show, but Advolly's book, it looks really gorgeous.
Oh,
so
well,
definitely
yeah,
going to check
that is
that
a
out.
top takeaway. Yeah.
Also, that rag scheme, I thought that was pretty cool. The one mentioned
cool.
at the Plant Co-operative.
I thought that was very good.
Well, next week, and it is next week again. This is the 7th of November. It's going to be on. So that's episode 30, I think. Yes, episode 30 next week.
Oh, we're almost at the end.
Frances Tophill is back at Damson Farm, lending a hand with autumn jobs in the garden. She learns about a clever recipe for making an architectural compost cake, plants a container with evergreens and spring bulbs, and takes hardwood cuttings from a tree with beautiful berries.
Fab stuff.
There's a teacher who has planted hundreds of apple trees on his allotment. Nick Bailey explores the science of how sun-loving plants must adapt to survive and thrive in the shade. Sue Kent is busy at home doing some moving and manoeuvring in her borders ready for the spring. And Arish Anderson is in Oxfordshire to visit a garden that blends seamlessly with its home.
Great stuff.
So if you want to get in touch, here's how.
If you have any questions, feedback or comments, you can get in touch with us on our contact page at notjustagarden.co.uk or via our email, which is notjustagarden@outlook.com, or you can even find us on Facebook or Instagram and come visit us there and hit the follow button. And if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world if you could post a 5-star review. It really helps our podcast climb up the pile. If you didn't enjoy it, bigger polls from us, and please don't. For more Sweet Pea and Bear content, including videos, blogs, guest garden lists, early access to episodes, podcast outtakes, which are great, and community chats, come join us on our Patreon. You can find a link on our website.
Well, Sweet Pea, I guess you're off to have your supper.
Sure am, and then I have me mocks tomorrow. Woo!
Well, I'm not going to say good luck because I never say good luck, do I?
No, you don't.
I just say,
have fun.
Have fun.
For some reason, you say fun, and I'm sitting there going, "Well, this is just fun."
Well, I hope you have lots of fun. I hope you have a good supper. You get a good night's sleep.
You too. Hopefully, the rats won't do river dance.
And I look forward to hearing how you got on.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'll speak to you soon then. Bye, Sweet Pea.
Bye, Mummy Bear.